Part 3. Building Stability First. Chapter 5. Creating Breathing Room with Savings. For many people after 40, money does not feel like a tool, it feels like a trap. Every shilling or dollar already has a job before it even arrives: rent, food, school fees, medical bills, debt. There is no space to breathe, no margin for mistakes, and no room for the unexpected. Life becomes a cycle of catching up instead of getting ahead. This chapter is about changing that. Savings is often presented as something you do after you become comfortable. In reality, savings is what creates comfort. It is not about having extra money. It is about creating space between what you earn and what you spend, even if that space is small at first. After 40, breathing room is not a luxury, it is protection. When you have no savings, every surprise becomes a crisis. A minor illness turns into a financial emergency. A job disruption becomes a disaster. A broken appliance becomes debt. Without a buffer, you are forced to react instead of plan. This chapter will help you understand savings not as a distant goal, but as a daily act of stability. You will learn why building a small financial cushion matters more now than chasing big wins later. You will see how saving, even modest amounts, can restore a sense of control and reduce constant financial tension. Creating breathing room does not mean cutting joy out of your life. It means making sure your life does not collapse when something goes wrong. It means moving from survival mode into something steadier and more intentional. In Part 3, you are no longer just defining what enough means. You are building the foundation that will support it. And savings is one of the first pillars. This chapter will show you how to begin creating space in your finances, space to think, space to choose, and space to grow. Emergency funds as emotional safety. An emergency fund is usually described in practical terms: money set aside for unexpected expenses. But after 40, its most powerful benefit is not financial, it's emotional. When you live without savings, every problem feels bigger than it is. A sick child, a delayed paycheck, a car repair, or a rent increase can trigger fear, shame, and panic. Your mind is always calculating risk, always bracing for the next blow. You may look fine on the outside, but inside, you are living on edge. An emergency fund changes that. It does not eliminate problems, but it softens them. It turns disasters into inconveniences. It replaces "what will I do" with "I can handle this." That shift is not small. It is the difference between reacting in fear and responding with thought. This is why emergency savings should come before luxury spending and even before aggressive investing. Without a buffer, progress is fragile. One unexpected expense can undo months or years of effort. You are forced back into debt. You lose momentum. You lose confidence. Emotionally, an emergency fund provides relief from constant anxiety, a sense of control over your life, freedom from begging, borrowing, or panicking, the ability to make calmer decisions, protection of your dignity during hard moments. It also protects your relationships. Money stress often spills into family life: arguments, blame, resentment, and silence. When there is even a small cushion, tension eases. You stop seeing every problem as a personal failure and start seeing it as a situation you can manage. Many people avoid saving because they feel the amount they can put aside is too small to matter. But emotional safety does not require a large sum to begin. The first few weeks or months of saving already changes how you feel. Knowing that there is something set aside creates hope where there was only fear. Your emergency fund is not for vacations or shopping, it's for life: illness, job interruption, family emergencies, urgent repairs, sudden obligations. It's your financial first aid kit. After 40, the goal is not perfection, it's resilience. You may not control what happens to you, but you can control how prepared you are when it happens. Building an emergency fund is an act of self-respect. It is you saying, my future problems deserve a calmer solution. My family deserves stability. I deserve peace of mind. Before wealth comes comfort. Before growth comes safety. And before confidence comes a small, quiet pile of money that exists for one purpose: to protect you when life surprises you. Saving when income feels stretched. One of the hardest truths to accept after 40 is this: you are expected to prepare for the future at the same time life becomes more expensive. Children need more support. Parents may need care. Health costs rise. Income may be unstable or slower to grow. By the time you think seriously about saving, it can feel impossible because every coin already has a job. When income feels stretched, saving can feel unrealistic, even unfair. But this is exactly when savings matters most. The mistake many people make is believing they must first have extra money before they can save. In real life, extra money rarely appears on its own. It is created through small, deliberate choices made under pressure. Saving when income is tight is not about large amounts. It's about building the habit of protection. When you wait for comfort before you save, you may wait forever. But if you begin with what you can, even a very small amount, you are teaching your finances a new rule: the future gets something too. This often requires redefining what savings looks like. It may mean saving weekly instead of monthly. It may mean saving a fixed amount instead of a percentage. It may mean starting with consistency rather than size. The power is not in the amount, it is in the priority. When money is stretched, the real work is not only finding money to save, it's deciding what matters more. Some expenses feel permanent only because they have never been questioned. Small leaks, frequent takeout, impulse purchases, unused subscriptions, constant borrowing quietly steal what could become your safety net. Saving under pressure forces you to ask, which expenses protect my future and which only protect my comfort today? What small change could free a little space? This is not about punishment, it's about strategy. Even modest savings can interrupt the cycle of crisis. When the next emergency comes, and it will, you won't be starting from zero. You won't be borrowing immediately. You won't be thrown completely off balance. That's real progress. It's also important to be realistic about seasons of life. There may be months when you save very little. There may be months when you save nothing. That doesn't mean the habit has failed. It means your life is demanding more in that moment. What matters is returning to saving when the pressure eases. Saving while stretched is an act of courage. It says, I am not just surviving this month, I am protecting the months ahead. After 40, savings is not about getting rich. It's about becoming harder to break. You may not feel wealthy while you save, but you will feel stronger. And strength at this stage of life is a form of wealth. Automating consistency. One of the biggest challenges with savings is not knowing why to do it. It's remembering to do it when life is busy, stressful, and unpredictable. Good intentions are easily pushed aside by urgent needs, emotions, and fatigue. After 40, willpower alone is not a reliable financial strategy. This is where automation becomes powerful. Automating your savings means removing daily decision-making from the process. Instead of asking yourself each month whether you can save, you set a system that saves for you. The money moves first, before it can be spent, argued over, or forgotten. Consistency builds wealth more reliably than motivation. When savings depend on mood or memory, they become irregular. Some months you save, some months you don't. Progress becomes accidental. Automation turns saving into a routine, like paying rent or buying food. It becomes part of the structure of your life, not an optional extra. Automation also reduces emotional stress. You are no longer negotiating with yourself every time money comes in. You are no longer choosing between today's pressure and tomorrow's security. The choice was already made in advance. This matters especially when income feels tight. A small, automatic transfer done regularly is more effective than a large amount saved occasionally. It creates momentum and removes the mental burden of constant financial decisions. Automating consistency can look different depending on your situation. A fixed amount transferred to savings when income arrives, a percentage set aside automatically, a separate account that receives money before spending begins, a system tied to salary, business income, or mobile money. The method is less important than the principle. Save first, adjust spending second. When saving happens last, it usually doesn't happen. Automation also protects you from yourself. In moments of temptation or stress, it keeps your long-term goals intact. You may still spend what remains, but the future has already been funded. This approach builds trust between you and your money. Each month, you keep a quiet promise to yourself: I will not leave my future unprotected. Over time, that promise becomes confidence. Automation does not need to start big. It only needs to start. A small amount saved consistently will grow faster than a larger amount saved irregularly. The habit matters more than the size. After 40, financial success is less about dramatic changes and more about steady systems. Automation turns effort into structure and hope into routine. You do not need perfect discipline. You need a simple system that works even when you are tired. That is how consistency becomes automatic, and that is how stability is built quietly, month by month. Progress over large lump sums. Many people believe saving only counts if it happens in big amounts. They wait for a bonus, a windfall, or a perfect month when expenses are low. Until then, they tell themselves it is not worth trying. This thinking quietly keeps people stuck. After 40, progress matters more than dramatic moments. Financial stability is rarely built through one large deposit. It is built through many small, repeated actions that compound over time. Large lump sums feel powerful because they are visible. They look like success, but they are unreliable. They depend on events you cannot control: extra income, good luck, or a sudden opportunity. Progress, on the other hand, depends on you. Saving smaller amounts regularly creates movement where there was stagnation. It breaks the habit of waiting and replaces it with the habit of building. Each deposit, no matter how modest, strengthens your financial muscle. Progress changes how you see yourself. Instead of thinking, I can't save, you begin to think, I am someone who saves. That identity shift is often more valuable than the money itself. Waiting for large sums also creates emotional pressure. If you believe only big contributions matter, every small amount feels like failure. This leads to discouragement and giving up. Progress-focused saving removes that burden. It allows you to succeed in ordinary months, not just exceptional ones. A realistic approach after 40 looks like this: save consistently even when the amount is small. Increase contributions slowly when income improves. Use extra money to strengthen your base, not replace your habit. Measure success by consistency, not size. This approach protects you from disappointment and keeps you moving forward even in difficult seasons. Large lump sums can help, but they should support an existing system, not substitute for one. If you rely only on big moments, your financial future rests on uncertainty. If you rely on steady progress, it rests on structure. Progress also builds resilience. When emergencies come, you are not starting from zero. You may not be fully prepared, but you are better prepared than before. That difference matters. After 40, wealth is not built through sudden leaps. It is built through steady steps. You do not need a miracle. You need momentum. Each small deposit is proof that you are moving forward, and forward, slowly but consistently, is how stability is created. In this chapter, you have learned that savings is not about having extra money. It's about creating breathing room in a life that already feels full. You explored how emergency funds provide emotional safety, how to save even when income feels stretched, why automation protects consistency, and why steady progress matters more than rare large deposits. Together, these ideas form one clear truth: Stability is built quietly. You do not need perfect timing or perfect income to begin. You need a system that protects you from constant crisis and gives you space to think, choose, and recover when life interrupts your plans. Savings is not a reward for financial success. It is the foundation that makes success possible. By choosing consistency over perfection, you shift from reacting to problems to preparing for them. You move from fear to structure, from survival to intention. This is what breathing room really means. Not abundance, but control. This chapter completes the first pillar of part 3, building stability first. But savings alone is not enough if debt continues to pull you backward faster than you can move forward. In Chapter 6, Managing Debt Without Panic, you will face the other side of financial pressure. You will learn how to approach debt calmly instead of emotionally, how to prioritize what to pay first, and how to reduce its power over your future without shame or overwhelm. Savings helps you handle emergencies. Debt management helps you stop creating new ones. Together, they form the bridge from financial stress to financial stability, and the next step in building a future that feels secure instead of fragile.